There is confidence and beauty in how you see yourself. There is confidence and beauty in how you see yourself. There was recently a story that kind of went viral. It's a young lady out of Zambia. She's actually an attorney, and her name is Naomi Palula. And long story short, she posted a selfie of herself, and she faced a lot of criticism based off of how she looks, right? And it's fascinating, when you have internet trolls that come out and criticize someone based off of their physical appearance, and they make jokes or whatever about someone's physical appearance, but they don't realize that the joke is actually on them, right? And I'm going to play a clip in a second from Naomi, but I want to read a quote that she mentioned, in one of the interviews that she's done since her image went viral. And she said, "I really want people to see God. I want people to see confidence. I am not an aesthetically beautiful person. I am not. And that's okay," she says. "But I love myself and I can be myself. And with that is a certain level of beauty because there is a light that everyone has, and that deserves to shine." That was such a powerful thing in response to criticism on her appearance. And it's interesting because you know when something is considered different from the norm, you're aware of it, right? It's kind of like if remember that Austin Powers the movie, they had like an example where the guy had a mole on his face and Austin Powers couldn't get beyond the mole that was on his face, right? But in reality, a lot of times people want to act like there are obvious things that folks are overlooking. But the reality is that that people see certain features, right? But the question is, how do you view yourself and how do you see yourself? Do you allow yourself to succumb to the criticism or someone else's opinion? Or, like Naomi, are you able to see the beauty in how you operate? You see the beauty in your confidence and you allow that to shine. Because from a God perspective, we're all beautifully and uniquely made, right? Uniquely and wonderfully made. And we're all uniquely and wonderfully made differently, right? But I want to play this clip from Naomi in response to some of the backlash, and we're going to dive into it a little bit more. But she talks about healing. I want you to hear her statement here.
So there's some comments that you get from people that will just fly over your head. They won't affect you in any way. But then there's some comments that are just triggering and they'll piss you off. So the question you shouldn't ask is like, why would you say that? The question is, why is it pissing you off? Because another comment wouldn't have. So there's something about this that pisses you off. So that's what the focus was. It's like, why are you so pissed off? Why are you so pissed off? So it was an exploration of just coming back to myself and asking myself, okay, yeah, why is this pissing you off so much? And maybe finding out that I'm not as healed as I thought I was, but it allowed me to do the last few steps of the healing I needed.
She mentioned that when she was triggered, that was an indication that she was not fully healed. She's very aware of her features. She's very aware of how she presents. And she appears to have gone through a process of really coming to grips with accepting how she presents and finding the beauty in that. But she mentioned that when her selfie went viral and people made all kinds of comments about her appearance, she was triggered by some of the comments. And that was an indication that she still had more healing to do. To me, this is such a beautiful lesson in understanding triggers and how triggers are indicators. I had a protocol that I came up with years ago called Double Down on You, where it was all about doubling down on your greatness while embracing your interests, leaning into your faults and failures, and then guarding yourself from your personal triggers, right? GIFT, greatness, interest, faults and failures, and triggers. It's about unwrapping your gift. But I've had a change in my perspective because it's not about guarding yourself from your personal triggers or the things that trigger you. It's actually healing so that those things are no longer triggers for you. Because if it's a trigger, that's an indication that some healing still needs to take place, right? It's a fascinating perspective. And Naomi's example helped me to really rethink about that again. It's like, what are the things that get you upset? Like, think about politics, right? I mean, you may agree with the current president in the United States. You may disagree with the current president in the United States. It really is irrelevant. But the question is, do you get triggered by what's being said? Do you get triggered by, someone that's criticizing or someone that's agreeing with presidential politics? And if you are triggered, you need to ask yourself why, right? Because you need healing. If you are triggered, that's an indication that you still have healing to do. Because truthfully, we should not walk around numb, right? We have emotions, but our emotions should not get the best of us. Emotions are great passengers, but they're horrible drivers. They should ride shotgun. You should never give them the keys to the car. When you give them the keys to your car and you let emotions drive, you're probably going to get triggered. But if you keep them in their proper place and you utilize emotions as indicators, you utilize a trigger as an indicator, then those things can be valuable tools. Just like it's valuable to have a companion riding with you on a long car trip. You can drive, but they are good conversation. Maybe they keep the music or the tunes going, right? To keep everybody pumped up in the car. Maybe they're the navigator, right? Like, whatever it may be, they're a good passenger. It's good to have good passengers. And emotions are great passengers. Triggers fall under that umbrella of emotion. And Naomi Palula from Zambia, the lawyer from Zambia who got a lot of backlash based off of her appearance, this clip that we just played really helps to solidify the fact that we all need to heal. If you have a trigger in your life, if there's something that just gets under your skin, if there's someone who gets under your skin, full transparency, you need to figure out why so that you can heal from that thing. Because if you have to consistently and constantly avoid something, you're not healed from it. Think about that. So a trigger is an indicator. And again, just using this example and also learning to love yourself and love who you are. When you think about, your mindset is composed of five things: your beliefs, your experiences, your relationships, the stories you tell yourself, and how you view yourself. How you see yourself is a key component to formulating your mindset. So if you look in the mirror and you are unhappy with what you see, if you look in the mirror and you can't find beauty in what you see, your mindset is going to take a hit. Real talk. So, regardless of what people say, regardless of external feedback, you have to find beauty in what God created you to be. You have to find beauty in how you were uniquely and wonderfully made. And we can take the story or the controversy or the popularity surrounding Naomi Palula from Zambia. We can take that and listen to it and process how she's approaching it and use that as a lesson in how we need to formulate our own personal identity, but then also on how we can love ourselves and not really worry too much about the naysayers. Sidebar: if those naysayers are getting under your skin, that's an indication of some healing that you need to do. All right. Well, hey, man, I hope this has been awesome. This was a really cool example of really why it's so important to formulate a strong mindset. Because when your mindset is strong, those folks that are coming for you, they ain't got nothing to grab onto because you got it under control. All right. Well, hey, as always, make sure to leave comments, share this thing out. And until next time, y'all be blessed. well and wise, and go be the quarterback of your mindset. I'll holler at you. Peace.